Hey everybody, and in this video I want to go through and talk about a tool called ActiveCampaign. Now, I've had a very popular post for a long time about the best email marketing tools for small business, and a lot of people have been coming to me and suggesting different tools or asking what I think of their particular tool. And for a long time I'd been very happy with using Office Autopilot, which is what I've been using for many years. And in recent times, my love for Office Autopilot hasn't changed, but their newer version, I haven't been as impressed. So a friend of mine told me to check out this tool called ActiveCampaign. And I've got to say, I've fallen in love with it, and I'm actually looking to move my entire setup over to them. And for most of the clients that I work with in my Done For You agency, we're putting them on ActiveCampaign as well if they haven't already got Infusionsoft or Office Autopilot or some sort of tool like that. So in this video, I want to go through and explain, well, what exactly is ActiveCampaign? So here I am on the ActiveCampaign website, and their marketing is slick, it looks fantastic, but the challenge can be when you're looking at someone's sales page is, does it really do everything it says? So in this video, I want to go through at the time of recording and show you what I love, what I don't. We're going to jump into an account of mine that I've been using as a test just to play around with getting to know every single feature. And I'm going to show you what I love, what I'd improve, and give you my review at the end as to whether or not it might be a good fit for you. So ActiveCampaign, what is it? It's an email marketing platform and marketing automation tool. They also have just released a new feature called Sales and CRM, or Deals. And I'm going to deep dive and show you through that as well. So let's jump in. The first thing that I want to show you is their new dashboard. Now this is actually, at the time of recording, this has only been live for a couple of days, and in a lot of my clients' accounts, they don't have this new dashboard yet. So my guess is it's a beta feature that they've activated on my particular account. And it's really cool. It's drag and drop. You can move little widgets around. You can add more from down here. You can add in the templates widget. You can remove widgets and they'll go here. So you can really customize your dashboard with what they've created. And I'm sure over time they're going to create more different types of widgets, and hopefully they'll also make it so other integrations, or we'd be able to create our own. That would be really powerful. So it's a really great little dashboard to give you an overview of what you want to know about your database. So what do I love about it? The drag and drop, absolutely. What would I improve? At the moment, nothing except hopefully get some more options of different things that we could add in, or the ability to create my own custom widgets would be great. So the main thing that I really want to go through, let's go through this step by step. Let's talk about contact management. Basically, the system works around having a contact in a database, right? And when you're viewing the contact, here is a sample of what it might look like. Now, what do I love most? Firstly, I love the fact that if the email address has a gravatar or some sort of social profile link to it that's publicly accessible, it will bring in the image of that person. So straight away, you could have complete strangers join your database and you could get an idea of what they look like. Very similar to what Reportive would give you in your emails, you can now have within your CRM system. Another really cool thing that, you know, not necessarily that valuable, depends on your business, is that it also automatically detects their location based on the IP address of when they opted into the form, when they open an email. So for example, when someone opts into your form, they might currently be in Australia, and so it will detect that they're in Australia. But then maybe they're traveling. And so next time they're traveling, they open your email, they happen to be in the United States. This would automatically detect and update the location, and the background here shows a bit of a map. You know, it's not necessarily the most useful thing, but it's kind of cool from a techie point of view. I really like it. As you can see here, you've got the activities, which shows you what's been happening, what they've done, completed automations, added a tag, what they've done, notes been added. So you can get a full history of what's been happening on their activities. You can add notes, you can see their notes, you can add new notes on the side. You can track the sites and events, so have they been going to your website? You can also see, are they in any deals? And I'm going to go through deals in a moment as well. From the page, you've got all the personal data down the left-hand side. This is one of the things that I would probably look to improve, is that if you have a lot of information you want to collect, things like address, a whole bunch more information, then this is going to get really ugly really quickly. And it's not the most user-friendly to view the data there. I'd rather see probably it up here on the top. You can see what tags people are in. You can add people into a tags, create new tags on the fly. You can see what lists they're in. So ActiveCampaign works from a list-based system at the moment. I do believe they are planning on moving away from making lists part of their core feature and making lists more of a filtering process. But at the moment, contacts belong on different lists, and that's how you can segment and run the business. And then there's all the automations as well. So that's what we call sequences in Entreport or campaigns in Infusionsoft. It shows you what they're kind of running the automations at the time. You can easily from here, add more and put people on as well. So it's a really great little overview. Some of the things that I would look at improving is that the tagging there's no central tagging place that you can manage your tags, rename them, delete them. So it is possible, it can be very easy to accidentally tag one user with here, for example, who client, and then have another one which might be who clients, and then now they're not in the same tag. They are slowly improving that, and I know it is on their roadmap to improve, but at the moment it's one of those things that is a little bit frustrating. I think that they could better explain when you first sign up how lists work and how that can work better into segmenting your database. That would definitely have saved me a lot of time when I was trying to get my head around that, coming from a tool like Infusionsoft and Entreport that don't use lists. If you're coming from a tool like Aweber, you're probably sorted and you'd understand how it works. As I said, the information's a little hard to read, and by default, you've got to create new custom fields. Now you can add more fields in here easily, but it doesn't by default have all the address and probably the more standard information you'd want to collect, which I think would be quite valuable to store holistically, not even on per list. To have that kind of information would be really helpful. And but it is fully flexible. You can add more fields as you need to collect. But if you had it too many, it's going to get quite challenging to manage down the side. It also has this little travel history thing. It's not necessarily going to be the most useful things for a lot of people, but similarly, like I said, how it would update and show where they are, this will show a bit of a history of where the contact has been traveling based on their IP address. It's a little bit stalkery, but again, from a techie point of view, I think it's pretty cool. So that's kind of the overview I wanted to go there on the contact management. Let's jump into the deals section. So what exactly is deals? This is a fairly new feature that ActiveCampaign have added. And it's got, basically what you can do is set up a pipeline where a contact can fall in to create a new deal in a pipeline, which allows you to manage the opportunity. Think of it as a business opportunity. So if you're a service-based business in particular, this is going to be super helpful. I know it's really helpful for me in my marketing agency. And so when someone shows enough interest or they make an inquiry, it could create a new deal like this sample here in the to contact stage. Now these stages can be completely customized. And so from here, you'll go take them from the contact. You can go into the deal and there's a whole bunch of information stored in the deal. So it brings in the contact's information. It then shows you, you can update the value of this potential deal. So maybe this deal is going to be worth $500. You can change the currency as well. You can see when the deal first was created. You can add tasks that you need to call them or email them or have lunch or a meeting. You can add notes. You can even send a one-on-one email from within the deal right now. So if you've got a team, you can go, hey, look, I just wanted to send an email to this person about this deal. And the whole history is here. As you can see here, I've got a call that was supposed to happen 25 days ago, which I haven't done. So it's kind of reminding me I need to do that deal. There's a whole history, and you can even integrate your email tool, so Gmail or Outlook, into this, and it will keep track of all the information and emails that have gone back and forth outside of ActiveCampaign related to this deal as well. Now, I haven't actually tested that feature, so I don't know how well it works, but it sounds really cool on paper, and I'm looking forward to implementing that. So it is possible. You can then basically control, is the deal open? Have you won it, or did you lose it? You can add tags, etc., all from within the deal. Now, going back to the deal list, let's say I've made contact with this person. I can automate that when I ticked off that task, it would move them, but I can also manually pick up and just drag them across and say, okay, now they're in contact with, I'm in discussion with this person, and I can have a whole bunch of automations trigger from that. And then maybe, you know, they've gone into, hey, I need to nurture them and talk for a little while. I could move them over into follow up. And then when I win the deal, I can just drag and drop. Really super simple, love it. Very similar to Trello, if you're familiar with the Trello kind of setup for doing tasks and project management. Really love it. It's simple, it's easy. If you're needing a really sophisticated system, it might not work, but if you just need a simple pipeline, really great. You can create multiple pipelines and you can configure all the stages from here in the deal that you'd like. So love that. Really easy to use. One of the things that I would probably improve around this is that it's not obvious that there's an outstanding task here. So you can see here, sample deal, there's an outstanding task, but it's not super obvious. I'd love to probably have that, you know, email reminders about the task, maybe a more obvious site-wide kind of, you have an outstanding task or you have task to complete notification. Something like that would be really helpful. And also from the automations point of view, the automations can only run based on either the last created or the last updated deal. You can't have your automations set up and linked to this specific deal. So the problem that I see with that, and it probably won't be a huge problem for a lot of people, but if, for example, I had multiple pipelines and I have a contact who is in 3 or 4 of those different sales pipelines, I could have they might have inquired 2 days ago, and then they've inquired again today in a completely different pipeline in my business. And I could have an automation update their deal, but it should be related to the one that happened 2 days ago. But because I've configured it as the last updated deal, it's updated the one that they did today. Now that might be a little confusing for some of you, but if you're following along, that's one of the frustrations that I see with that limitation. But I don't know the answer from a technical point of view of how they could solve it. It's just one thing to keep in mind, and I'd look to improve. But other than that, really great if you're needing a standard CRM and a bit of opportunity management, fantastic. The next big thing is email newsletters and broadcasts. If you're a standard small business and you're not as automated as my clients are or as I am, you probably send out these pretty looking email newsletters, or even if you are more my style and send those personal looking emails, then you still want the ability to send out a broadcast that's not automated. It's a one-time message that needs to go out specific to a deal or an opportunity, or just a message to say, hey. And so this is what they call campaigns. And so when you're creating a campaign, you can really customize a whole bunch of stuff. They've got a bunch of templates. So I'm going to do a new test newsletter campaign and show you how this works. Go next. Okay, you're going to choose the list that you want to send it to. You can segment it as well and only send to a certain segment in that list. And then there's a whole bunch of templates here. And they've got some really great looking email newsletters if that is your style for your business that you want to send it. I'm personally not a big fan of them because it looks like marketing, and I'd rather have a conversation with people. And if you're on my email community, you'll know the style that I like to send. But you can still send those as well, which unlike some tools like MailChimp, for example, it's really hard to strip out all the HTML and marketing look of the email and just send one that looks like you send it straight out of Outlook or Gmail. And ActiveCampaign can provide both, which is fantastic. Now, if I was to use a design, let's say I use this design, I can set my subject line, and then it will auto load from this template, and it's really simple. It's a standard WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get. You can hide sections, very similar to any of the other tools you've probably used, and you can just edit it right here in the system. When you're finished and you're ready to go, all you have to do, you can keep track of revisions actually. That's one thing that is worth mentioning. So if you've made changes, and another really cool thing is you can test what this email would look like. You can do a compatibility preview, which will show you what the email will look like in lots of different email clients. Because if you're going to create a visual looking email like this, then it can be really challenging to see what it looks like. Now, you do need to pay for these compatibility previews if you're on the free version, but it's really helpful if you are sending out those emails. I highly recommend that you use that built-in tool. So you'd go through, you've written your email, you go next, and it does a whole bunch of tracks. You can now decide, do you want to track replies? Do you want to track opens? Do you want to track links? Which is really cool, and you can give them a name for when you're doing reporting. It will also check it against your spam filters, and you can then choose when it's going to be sent. So you can schedule it out, or you can send it immediately, and you can send a test email to yourself. And all you need to do is go send now, and off it will go. Now, I'm not going to send it right now because this is a junk email, and I don't really want to send it from my account. Lots of cool things that I like. One of the coolest things actually that I really like, this is huge, is conditional email formatting. So what does that mean? It means that you can actually send in your email, you can actually create a one email that goes out to clients and it goes to prospects, and the email message that the clients see will be very different to the email message that the prospects see. So the biggest use case here is, let's say you're doing a promotion on one of your products and maybe you're discounting it. You don't necessarily want to send an email to all your clients who just signed up to say, hey, it's now 50% off, because they're going to get a little upset. Well, they paid full price. So you can have an email go out to the people who haven't bought yet saying, hey, 50% off. And the people who have bought already, you could say, hey, we've got a special deal on refer a friend and you'll get. And it's the same message. You don't have to write multiple messages, but the email content changes by using what they call conditional email content. It is huge. Really love it, and has a lot of potential that the other systems that are a lot more expensive than this don't actually have that feature built in. So it's a cool game changer there. A couple of things that I would probably change is the merge fields. Adding in merge fields isn't as obvious, and one of the cool things you can do with merge fields is format them. So if someone's entered their details wrong, or with random capital letters, you can make sure that when the email goes out, it actually formats it in a nice way. But that's not obvious of how to do from within the email designer itself. You have to know a little bit of code to do that. So for the more advanced and techie people, I'll have a bit of info here on the blog post to explain how you do that, but it's in the help file if you need to know. So let's jump into automations, probably my favorite part of the whole system. Let me find automations. So automations is where it's really at. This is where you can set things to happen automatically. This is where the power of an email marketing platform is, and you can choose how a automation starts. So the typical one would be they submitted the form. So I'm going to say they submitted a form. That's what triggers this, and then it's got this really nice visual email builder that you can just easily go, okay, what happens? All right, we're going to send an email. Perfect. I'm not going to create the email right now, so we're going to send an email, and then what's going to happen? We're going to wait, and we're going to wait 5 days. Perfect. All right, so we're going to send an email, we're going to wait 5 days, and then we're going to send another email. All right, perfect. And then what are we going to do? Well, how about we wait for them to do something? So you can go wait until a certain condition is met. So let's wait until they have clicked on a particular link. So let's say now what's going to happen is they've received these emails. We're going to wait until they actually click a link before the next thing happens. Once they click a link, let's have that create a deal in the CRM system. And we'll call this deal Hot Prospect because they clicked the link, and we're going to give them a $5 value. This is the power. It's really simple, and you can create if-then branches, which is something I really like. In other systems, well, Entreport in particular, you had to have multiple different segments to manage these if-then kind of scenarios. Now you can manage it all in a very easy to view process. One of the cool things is you can send SMSs. However, this doesn't work for us here in Australia, at least at the time of recording this. You can link in with webhooks. This will allow you to, in Australia, you can use a service like Clickertel to send SMSs. So it's still possible, but you've got to use a little bit more advanced setups. You can have different things happen. You can end an automation. You can then subscribe them onto other lists. You can add tags, remove tags. You can update deals. There's really quite a lot of power in what you can do in their automation. So I really love it there. Let's talk about integrating with third-party apps now. I know I'm going to kind of running over this fast, but in future I'll do a really in-depth kind of how to get started in ActiveCampaign tutorial. But for this video, I really just want to kind of highlight and show you what the potential is here. So integrating third-party apps, there's a whole bunch of apps. It comes with a free Zapier account, which is really cool. If you've heard of Zapier, it's a tool that links other software as a service platforms together. And normally it is a subscription monthly fee, but when you get ActiveCampaign, you get a free account. It's a limited account, meaning it can only integrate things into ActiveCampaign. You can't link, for example, Facebook with Unbounce, but you can link Facebook with ActiveCampaign and then Unbounce with ActiveCampaign. So it is possible. So it's got a whole bunch of built-in, nearly every integration that is available within Zapier and ActiveCampaign is available to you free of charge, even if you're on their lowest plans, which is really cool. Another thing that you can use is you can use Fused app to integrate MemberMouse, Wistia, GoToWebinar, Google Calendar for scheduling. You can link all of that in using Fused app if you're familiar with Fused. Jake's built a really great platform there, and he's integrated it completely with ActiveCampaign as well. Let's talk about web forms. You know, this is probably the most used thing you're going to use to capture data into ActiveCampaign. And you can create forms using a very simple email builder. It is a little basic compared to some other platforms. The options for customization from within the platform are not fantastic. The built-in fields, aren't. It took me a while to figure out that full name is how I would capture just a first name field. So there's a few things that aren't necessarily as clear. The designing and theme options are kind of basic, but they will do the job. If you're doing any email marketing really properly, you're probably going to customize these forms yourself or have a designer code them up separately anyway. The thing I really love is you can control your opt-in confirmation per form. Okay, so if you don't want when people fill in this form to have a double opt-in, you can just take the tick off. And if you do have a double opt-in, you can customize what that email looks like for that form, which is really, really a great tool, really flexible. I love it to be able to do that. One of the things that I would look to change here is I would love them to have a double opt-in optional, like Entreport have, where you can basically say if the client's already on the database, it would mean it doesn't require the double opt-in for the automations and things to happen, but it does send them the confirmation anyway, so that you can have a better quality database for those people who do choose to double opt-in, but you haven't made it a requirement for this particular form. That would be really cool. Another thing I'd like to see them do is, at the moment, at time of recording this, if you already have someone on your list or database and they've already double opted in, it won't know that. It doesn't seem to know that, and it will still send them, if they fill in this new form, it will still send them this confirmation email, even though they're already double opted in on your list. That's one thing that I put a feature request in. I hope that they will change. It's really something that could be improved. It's not a big issue, but it's something that just frustrates me a little bit. Form settings, there's not a lot that you can change. You can link it up to different lists. You can change your thank you pages. One of the things is the thank you pages currently are linked to lists rather than forms. And that's a little frustrating because it means you have to, if you want to have a form that takes someone to a different thank you page, you need to create a new list. Whereas in other tools, you would just create a new form and change those settings. You can obviously get all the code here to customize it. You can add it to your Facebook page. You can add it to WordPress. There's a QR code. There's even a hosted form. If you just wanted to send someone a link and say, hey, fill in this form, it will just send them to a page that has that particular form on it. It's nothing, super fancy. It's just that form that we built right then and there. But it's still pretty cool. A lot of options. Okay, let's talk about exporting. One of the big things people go is, can I export my data? Once I get it in this database, am I trapped? So let me just show you how simple it is. You'd go and find the list that you're looking for. You would click on the number of people. You'd find all the people that you want to export. You use your filtering. You select them and you click on export contacts. What happens is it instantly starts to download a CSV with all of that data. So you are able to get the information out. And in terms of importing data in, all of these customized apps allow you to import from Xero, from Facebook, from a whole bunch of different sources. You can other CRMs, you can get them into ActiveCampaign quite easily as well. Big one is behavior tracking. So we can track, what are they doing on the website? We can track if they're opening an email. We can track if they click a link. We can even track if they reply. And that's a feature that I actually really like, because a lot of my emails, I'd like people to reply to me. And the fact that someone replies, the fact I can then make an automation trigger to either set up a deal or to put them onto a different list or tag them is really, really great. And I don't have to manually think about, oh, I got a reply from this person, I need to now do something. I can have the system take care of it, which is really cool. Deliverability of the whole system. Do the emails get into the inbox, right? That's the big question. I haven't had any issues. I'm in no way an expert about all the ins and outs. I know there is a whole bunch of settings that if you're super techie and you know what you're talking about, you can get involved and change servers. You can send emails through your own servers. It's all here in this advanced settings section. So you can choose how the authentication of emails is delivered. For most of you, this is not going to be relevant at all. All you can do is test it. I haven't found an issue. In fact, if anything, I've probably found that emails are getting into the user's inbox faster. Within seconds of them filling in a form, they're getting it, as opposed to some other systems where it's taken 10, 15, 20 minutes before they've received the email. So I haven't had an issue. It's not to say that it's going to be the best system in terms of deliverability, because I'm not an expert and I don't know what they're doing on the back end to support that. The big thing though is that they have support. Throughout the site, you will always have this need help, contact us, where you can open up a live chat window. But also they have this support portal where you can search for answers, you can start a chat, you can send them an email, you can get one-on-one training for free, where they just kind of help you get an overview of the system. They have a whole bunch of help articles, and the only thing I would change around their support is I would love to see within the system easier access to some of those help articles. I know I wasted a lot of time trying to figure out how to do some things that I later found there was a help article that explained it, but I wasn't even aware that I could have clicked help from within the system. So there's a few little things like that that I would change. Other than that, it's really fast when you do get support from them. They're super quick, even though they're not in my time zone of Australia. They still will answer questions really quickly. Even when I've asked some stupid questions, they've been very polite, very nice, and they do a great job. So, final question, right? What's the price? What's this going to cost you? It's amazing. I'm, to be honest, blown away at what they're offering, at the prices they are offering. It's starting from $9 a month. In fact, it actually starts from free, but from $9 a month, any small business can get started on this. And in the past, I would put people onto a tool like SendPepper, which started at $30 a month, and it was good. It gave them some functionality, but you didn't get all the if-then automation that you can do with ActiveCampaign. You didn't get the CRM side of it. There is really powerful. If you're a small business, you should be, if you're really small, start on the 900 bucks. It's 500 contacts. It'll get you started. But for most of you, you'll probably find the $29 a month, or maybe the $40, $17, $29 or $45 a month is probably where you're going to be at, which is still a lot cheaper than any of the other platforms, and you're getting, most of the functionality they have. Sure, there's things it's not an all-in-one system like some of the others, and I personally don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think when systems try to become a complete all-in-one and offer you payment processing and affiliate programs and all these other bells and whistles, that's when they drop the ball, and they take their eye off the prize and end up with a lot of parts of the software that just don't work properly because they're busy building out another feature that maybe you don't need or will never need. I'd rather have a tool that focuses on the email automation, gets that right, and then integrates really well with the landing page software and other advanced systems that nail what they do. And even if you've got to pay a couple more monthly fees, at the prices that ActiveCampaign offer, it is much more affordable, and usually you'll save more money than if you were on some of the bigger platforms. So pricing is amazing. Their pricing can be a little confusing. If you come down, you can send based on number of emails you need to send, email credits. I think you should just focus here on what's the monthly fee and how many contacts you can have. Obviously, take a look. Maybe there's a use case that you'll find these work for you. I think that's a little confusing. I would just focus on, here's what the monthly fee is, this is how many people I can have on the database. A big thing you should know is that if you have multiple lists and one person is on 3 of those lists, unlike some other platforms, that person counts as one contact. So it is truly a unique contact across the system. It is not, a unique contact per list. So that means that when you're talking 500 contacts, we're talking about 500 unique people in the system, not, the fact that you've got one person in 3 lists is 3 contacts. That's not right. They'd be one contact, which is really cool. So final summary, what do I think? If you are a small business, if you're looking for a tool that's more powerful than Aweber or MailChimp, and you don't want the price tag of some of the more bigger and clunkier systems, then this is going to be great. If you're currently on something like Entreport or Infusionsoft and you feel that it's overkill for what you need, highly recommend you check out ActiveCampaign. If you're looking more for an all-in-one system that will take care of everything all in one place, then this probably isn't the best fit for you. And you should look at Entreport or Infusionsoft. If you're looking for a more complex and sophisticated sales and CRM side of things, you probably want to look at other tools like Salesforce, Sugar CRM, Zoho. This isn't going to be a really bells and whistle CRM system either. But again, remember it's got integration, so you could definitely use this for the email automation side and then integrate it into your Salesforce or Sugar CRM tool. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope you've been able to make the decision of whether a tool like ActiveCampaign is going to help you. I know it has helped me dramatically, and I'm moving all my stuff over to them, and I think you should as well. Hope this has been helpful. I'll talk to you very soon.